The story begins in a small village, Yamara, where an ugly, creepy guy wakes up in the care of a girl named Eruruu, an apprentice healer. With a weird mask stuck to his face and forgotten memories, he's confused and injured. Once he starts to feel better, Eruruu's grandmother, the chief of the village, lends him her deceased son's clothes, making him unusually resemble him as he heads out. With Eruruu's assistance, he tries to explore but gets curious to see people with animal characteristics. Impulsively, he touches Eruruu's tail, making her go beet red as she pushes him instead of slapping him on his ugly, disgusting face. The two meet Jolly Tayora and his wife, learning about the village and the recent earthquake it faced. While taking a break, Nuwangi, Eruruu's childhood friend and son of the king's younger brother, makes rounds gathering the hefty yearly tribute. He's grown to be obnoxious, often speaking ill of his birthplace, Yamara. Upon seeing Eruruu, he forces her to go with him, trying to seduce her with luxuries. However, the man protects her, declaring her family and causing Nuwangi to go crazy jealous. And his friends at Eastmatch are one of the holy shrines in the forest, awakening the forest guardian Mutakapa. At Eruruu's home, the man has still not regained his memories and feels the strange heat sickening him again. Unknown to them, the Mutakapa enrages outside. Nuwangi's recklessness has led the village into chaos. Even after repairing the shrine, the Mutakapa continues to attack, killing the innocent villagers. Refusing to sit idle, the man rushes up to the beast as Eruruu tearfully follows. Luckily, they are saved as the beast retreats once it rains. Back at the chief's, the village mourns. The man enters, revealing that the beast repulses being wet and volunteers to defeat it. The following day, together with Tayora and the villagers, he lures the Mutakapa into a trap filled with water. Impaling her to death, the group under his leadership and plan restores peace, returning victorious. Surprisingly, they find an erratic Eruruu searching for her missing little sister, Aruruu. To everyone's relief, they find her with a bulge on her stomach, claiming it's her baby. However, out falls a small Mitra Kappa kitten. Seeing that it's just a cub, the man reasons that small lives are pure, convincing the village to readily accept the little cat. With the village rejoicing and celebrating his bravery, the chief finally gives him a name, Hakuoro, the name of Eruruu's and Eruruu's father. Hakuoro blends well, helping villagers with his medicinal knowledge. One night, after the chief sheltered a group of battle-torn men, Eruruu worriedly wakes Hakuoro up, telling him that grandma has gone missing. While searching, Hakuoro is ambushed by a swordsman, Oboro, and his two minions. Just as he intends to kill him, grandma suddenly shows up. Scolding Oboro, she informs Hakuoro that she had willingly left to help Oboro's sister, Yuzuha, in his secretive village. Much to Oboro's dislike, the chief brings Hakuoro along and arrives at the village, tending to Yuzuha, a poor little sickly blind girl. While grandma has a word with Oboro, Hakuoro and Yuzuha get familiar, making friends. Later on, they return back to Eruruu, and in the morning, the villagers strangely receive a load of replenishing cargo, secretly paid for by Oboro and his village. However, it's not long before the chief is called again. Hakuoro and her arrive to see Yuzuha fighting for life. Luckily, they manage to help using an expensive medicine. However, Yuzuha will relapse again and again, meaning the medicine evermore. To gain more funds, Oboro resorts to stealing from the Lord's mansion, coming across the samurai general of Ankala Banawi, who injures him well. In the morning, while playing with a Mutakapa cub, Aruruu and Hakuoro find the collapsed Oboro. Once better with their care, Oboro is indebted to Hakuoro and leaves. Nuwangi returns, this time with his father of Lord Sasanta. Loudly, they accuse the village of sheltering the thief. As the hassle intensifies, one of the soldiers gravely injures the chief as the lord runs away scared of the tiny Mutakapa cub. Worry the village gathers while Eruruu and Aruruu desperately try to save their grandma. However, she's aware that her time's up. Leaving her granddaughters with Hakuoro, she sadly passes away. Hakuoro soon delivers the news to Oboro, who grows enraged at himself for bringing such a calamity and leaves to confront the Lord himself. Meanwhile, the mourning villagers, knowing well of Hakuoro's character, ask him to succeed the late chief. Seeing the villagers, the sheltered soldiers, and Oboro's minions all stand in unison at the decision, Hakuoro accepts. Under him, the men leave to join Oboro. Infuriated, villagers break into the mansion, wreaking havoc as Oboro's chained below. Freeing himself, he joins Hakuoro and the villagers. Together, they attack Sasantea, who cowers like a dog, yelling for his son. However, Hakuoro stabs him swiftly with the bladed fan the chief herself had bestowed him. Meanwhile, Nuagi flees enraged at Hakuoro as the mansion falls to villagers. It seems like Banawi the samurai withheld backup. Victorious, the village is now at the mercy of the imperial court. It will surely come after them. Anticipating the imperial army's arrival any time, the village prepares for the clash as Mukuru grows hungrier than usual, even frustratedly fumbling with Eruruu and leaving her almost bare-chested. Bad kitty. Even Oboro arrives with Yuzuha, being indebted to Hakuoro. He declares himself his brother and joins with his people to prepare for the battle. As Eruruu and Aruruu make friends with Yuzuha, Oboro reveals that it was Yuzuha's wish to come here. Later on, Eruruu and Hakuoro find a doubtful Eruruu hiding something. Pulling her aside, they find Mukuru munching on the stalks, now a massive mutakapa. Soon, Hakuoro and Oboro explore for villages to ally with, coming across the deadly scene of an innocent village torched to ash. Banawi and his men emerge from the smoke, immediately igniting a clash as Hakuoro battles Banawi and Oboro with Banawi's right hand, Kuru. On the brink of defeat, a roar erupts as Mukuru and Aruruu spring, defending Hakuoro. Stunned, seeing a mutakapa, Banawi decides to retreat, but not before acknowledging Hakuoro. Back at the imperial court, Banawi kneels before the king as he selfishly summons Nuwangi, putting him in charge instead. With Nuwangi as the new head general, he's being a literal pain in the ass, insulting Kuru, Banawi's right hand, into joining him only to scatter off when faced with brute strength. Meanwhile, Hakuoro, Oboro, and Teora have been gathering allies, with more villages joining them at the news of Ben Ali torching one. As they sit chatting, Eruruu brings in an awkward man claiming to be a frequent merchant at the mansion. Clumsily, he showcases his goods, even presenting a not-so-appropriate item to Eruruu before being escorted out by Hakuoro. On his way, he suspiciously changes his demeanor, brandishing a dagger and mentioning the expensive medicine Oboro searches for before returning to his clumsy self. Out at the checkpoints, Banawi and Kuru are alerted. Within the shadows, the same merchant appears, passing information to Banawi. However, a survivor from the checkpoints stumbles at Hakuoro's, making the villagers even more angered. Hakuoro launches an attack and is surprised upon finding Banawi and Kuru there, although it seems as if Banawi once again retreats defeated. At the imperial court, Banawi is shoved into dungeons for returning vanquish and questioning the king's reckless attacks on innocent villages as Nuwangi takes the reins. Hakuoro's forces strengthened, speedily taking over the country and now confident to break into the imperial city. Unknown to them, Nuwangi has joined the stupid king's reckless antics of battering all villages, even innocent ones, so they don't stand against him. While Hakuoro visits Yuzuha, Oboro rushes with the news. Headed by Nuwangi, the imperial forces are about to mass slaughter when Hakuoro's men sprint onto them, making their forces cowardly retreat. However, the idiots sure drop their own commander behind them. Fallen off his pedestal, Nuwangi is captured. The rats were finally found. Tied and ready to be beheaded, Nuwangi is still a pain. Lucky for him, Hakuoro lets Eruruu take the decision, and the sweet girl frees him. Now, stronger than ever, Hakuoro's forces confidently invade the imperial city and wreak mayhem. Kuro rushes to the dungeons, freeing Banawi. Avoiding Hakuoro, Benawi goes to the king, raising his blade to slay him as the lewd king begs, reasoning there are so many women to play with. Just as Hakuoro enters, Benawi kills the king, placing the blade on his own neck before Hakuoro swats it away, refusing for him to end. Together, the two walk out, announcing the fall of the emperor as the people erupt, rejoicing. With the dawn of a new empire, Hakuoro is crowned king. Soon, the Onkamiya Mukai arrive, mediators from the temple of Witsunomita, the people's god. As representatives of the temple, Princess Oratori and a temple teacher, Muto, arrive at the new kingdom. Meeting Hakuoro and Benawi, they put forward the proposal of friendship and to act in the future as their mediators. The two were shown around by Eruruu, whom the princess mistakes for Hakuoro's queen. Meanwhile, Hakuoro, while on a break, comes across another winged Onkamiya Mukai, later finding her asleep in his bed. Sensing the familiar aura, Orator enters, catching her and informing Hakuoro that she's her little sister, Kimis, who has followed her. With his good heart, Hakuoro allows her in, and soon Kimis blends together with Eruruu and Yuzuha, making friends and playing till exhausted. Seeing the kingdom happy and satisfied themselves, the Onkamiya Mukai soon leave, certain of their new friendship with the kingdom of Tusker. Hakuoro has done well. However, all kingdoms do not happily accept the new kingdom of Tusker, and soon a hostile message is sent from Niwa, the emperor of Shikura-Pishem. It demands Tusker to be ruled under them or to fall battle in them. With the best of his character, Hakuoro tries to settle, even scolding Oboro, who's always quick with his anger and protective of his brother Hakuoro. But despite Hakuoro receiving the envoys respectfully and peacefully, New attacks Tusker's checkpoints, alarming Hakuoro. Now serving Hakuoro, Benawi soon gathers forces, lining the fort and preparing for the attack. Niwa's parties soon march onto them, with Karura and Benali fending them off. Meanwhile, together with his minions, Oboro secretly infiltrates the fallen castle. As Hakuoro overlooks, waiting for his plan to go into action, he finds Aruruu and Eruruu to have followed him. Soon the castle goes ablaze with a concoction, bursting, and Niwa's forces are trapped. Hakuoro marches onto them, defeating the masses as Niu himself shows up. Face to face, Niu warns that he shall meet him again before retreating. One night, as the sea rages under the thunderous weather, a trafficking ship is caught in the waves. Abandoning the abducted, sailors flee, but not before a ravened girl, one of the seas, escapes as well, killing all the sailors ashore. By the time Hakuoro's forces arrive, they find bloodshed and the collapsed girl. Bringing her in, they lock her up, but the girl, Karura, breaks through, showing up before Hakuoro. Her skills surely please Karu. However, Hakuoro receives her warmly, asking Eruruu to tend to her injuries. Being her clever self, Karura easily decodes Eruruu's love for Hakuoro, making her blood red. Upon Eruruu's request, Karura is allowed out and adjusts quite well, avoiding Karura's failed advances, brazenly drinking sake in broad daylight and making friends with Oratori herself. For her skills, Hakura decides to give her command, but not before Benoi assesses her. The soldiers gather as the two face each other. Kuro is not an easy opponent, but Ben Ali is still a hailed samurai and comes out victorious. However, she fought skillfully except in command. Karura orders her weapon an extremely massive sword that even breaks Kuro's sweat. But the goblin woman lifts it easily, leaving everyone dumbfounded. Thanks for watching, and also do mention in the comment section if there is anything that I should be improving on my channel. See you all in the next recap. Goodbyes until then.